Good morning. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the living God, the Creator, one. Okay? All things that exist come from one, and then that one created good and evil. All right? But understand, when he subcontracted something out, he didn't personally create evil. He allowed evil to have power and create a materialized world, this materialized world, because the world of the Supreme Creator, the spiritual world, is just something you guys couldn't possibly fathom, because we've all been trapped into thinking that this is a glorious place. As it degrades, as it gets worse and waxes worse, and on and on. How I've been in this spiritual war and battle now for some time, trying to wake Christians up to the truth about the gods of this Bible. And it's difficult. It's difficult because there's just billions and billions of Christians that worship Jesus as Lord and Savior, and they're all absolutely wrong. But we're not in the New Testament yet. We're still reading here in the Old Testament, and we will be in this Old Testament here for many years to come. And I hope everybody can find something, some perspective, some new perspective on what's being said in this Bible, because the gods of the Bible are all flesh. You understand that? You must grasp that feeling that everything that exists in this plane of existence was once flesh, okay? And it died, okay? And you can't be a god if you die. But these people believe that if you can download somebody's conscience onto a snot disk and put it on a chip, and this is what they're doing. This is what the mark of the beast will be. It'll be those that take this chip and put it inside of their head, because what you're doing is you're downloading a chip, okay? You're downloading your conscience to a chip, and it's being placed in one of these right here. Today, folks, I absolutely know from media and what they're saying to us in Hollywood that cloning is going on. I mean, come on, really. How many of you have seen The Sixth Day here with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Watch.
Adam Gibson. Wish I could say the one and only. Both went back on our word, didn't we? You might find we have more in common than you thought. Where's my family?
So this guy here, he plays Michael Drucker. Arnold Schwarzenegger is playing Adam Gibson. This guy's a clone, okay? And these two guys here, they're clones, all right? And these are government officials, okay? And what do they call the FBI? They call them spooks. That's what these guys are. And what's a spook? A spook is a ghost, okay? And what are ghosts? They are the spirit of the dead. So, right here, Neuralink, and then Syntech. It's amazing that they've wrote all these movies through time and stuff, and they're trying to point out to us exactly what's going on. And now you have Elon Musk with Neuralink. This is called transhumanism. And this is how they're going to get you used to it, because this technology here is making the deaf hear. Okay, it's going to make the blind see. Okay, and this is how the World Health Organization is going to tell you, hey man, this technology is wonderful. Remember what Jesus said? Jesus himself said that the lame will walk, the blind will see, and the deaf will hear. Okay, this technology here is mad science. It's decoding the DNA and trying to manipulate it in a fashion where they can defeat death. And our ancient ancestors, what I'm saying is if we've come to this technology today, that this isn't old technology, folks. Okay? This isn't old technology. It's new technology, excuse me. It's old technology being reinvented, coming back to life. Tesla would try to bring it back, 50 years ago or so, about the electrification of the materialized world, and they're giving us all of these truth bombs. So it's very imperative to your salvation and your responsibility to dive into this book and understand exactly what's being said, because it is a book of riddles. Okay? If you see your fellow Israelites, ox or sheep, straying, do not ignore it, but be sure to take it back to its owner. If they do not live near you, or if you do not know who owns it, take it home with you and keep it until they come looking for it. Then give it back. Do not do the same if you find their donkey or cloak or anything else they have lost. Do not ignore it. Do you think anybody on this plane of existence does that today? Huh? Where are we at in this world today? This book's 6,000 years old now. Where are we at? Huh? Does anybody know? Or could anybody prove anything different? Or are we surrounded in our own reality bubbles? Because most of these people in school today, they live in their own reality bubble, man. They live in this deluded fantasy dream. If you see your fellow Israelites' donkey or ox fallen on the road, do not ignore it. Help the owner get it to its feet. A woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear a woman's clothing, for the Lord your God detests anyone who does this. Well, this is where I have such a problem, okay? We're taught that Jesus came to the world because Jesus is love, okay? So what we got to start asking ourselves is, what Lord here, huh? What Lord your God detests anyone who does this? So clearly what I'm trying to share with you is that the God of the Old Testament are Elohim, and the God of the New Testament are magistrates. Now, I don't just say things, okay? I don't just say it. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5, Bible Hub. The Lord, once again, is Yahweh. This here is the proper name of God of Israel. Okay, so Israel are not the same. They are set apart from the Gentile race. Okay? The Israel, this is the proper name of the God of Israel. So this is who's making this command, who's saying, it is detestable to the Lord, Yahweh. Okay? Now, this is how we know that there's a distinct two different races, because you have Israel that calls the supreme Lord Yahweh, okay? And Yahweh is a man. I don't worship Yahweh either, because Yahweh is a man. Anything that lived in a flesh suit, any ancestor that was materialized itself, is these ancient gods that are you talking about, is somewhere you must understand that a God was capable of materializing itself into a material world, all right? The supreme spirit of truth, the living God, spirit, is not of the material world. He stands outside of time, space, and matter. So when it says in the beginning, that's the beginning of the fall. That's after the war. That's after the supreme living God cast the darkness on the face of the deep. Darkness was the evil, the wickedness, the ones that fell from the glory of God and wanted to be praised and worship themselves. That's what this plane of existence is trying to tell us. It's trying to tell us that we're worshiping ourselves. We've made ourselves idols. We've made ourselves. There's only elite. See, in the elite, they feed off of your energy and you give them glory, and you make them above you, you rise them above you, you make them above you, you put them above you, you idolize them. And this is exactly what the Spirit's trying to keep you from doing, because he wants you to know that we are all infinite pieces of the Supreme Spirit, okay? His creation. He may not have created this plane, but he still subcontracted it out. He gave something permission, and this is a very difficult thing for both Israel and the Gentile nations to understand. So those in the providence of Israel today call God Jehovah. So what's the difference between Jehovah and Yahweh? Is it a translation? No, because we have a J that was added to the Bible, okay? And the J is what gives you the Yah sound. Jehovah, Yahweh, okay? And to wear women's clothing, if you're a man, or men's clothing when you're a woman, is detestable to the Spirit of truth, the living God, who uses these gods here, Eloheka, which is plural of Eloah, which are gods. This God, even though it's capital, is still a God, plural of God, and it is used of a supreme creator. There's a supreme creator, which is spirit, okay? And he gave knowledge and power to something, but he ultimately is the one that created all things, because he's the one that gave this knowledge and power to something. He created everything. Everything is of the all. Everything good and evil is created of the all. He tells you himself. Right here he tells you, Isaiah 45:7, I formed the light and I created darkness. Darkness is misery, death, and wickedness. Darkness is death right here, folks. So in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, Bible Hub, now the earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the surface of the deep. Hebrew cosmology. Oh, come on, there you go. So here, this is the Hebrews, all right? Tohim, the great deep. This is Sheol right here. This is the underworld. All of this is the underworld. And this is where evil comes from. This is where it was cast down. This here to Satan is a heaven. This here is a heaven. This here is a heaven. The three heavens. So it's God who created good and he created evil. Just because he gave something permission, swallow the pill. If he gave something that he created permission to do so, then I'm not in error in what I'm teaching. A woman must not wear a man's clothing. Oh, if you come across a bird's nest beside the road, either in a tree or on the ground, and the mother is still on the young or on the eggs, do not take the mother with the young. You may take the young, but be sure to let the mother go, so that it may go well with you, and you may go have a long life. So you will have a long life because you let the mother go, but you took its hatchlings. Wow. When you build a new house, make a parapet around your roof so that you may not bring the guilt of bloodshed on your house if someone falls from the roof. Well, that would be an accident if someone fell from the roof and died. Do not plant two kinds of seeds in your vineyard. If you do, not only the crops you plant, but also the fruit of the vineyard will be defiled. Do not plow with an ox and a donkey's yoked together. Do not wear clothes of wool and linen woven together. Make tassels on the four corners of the cloak you wear. Marriage violations. If a man takes a wife and after sleeps with her, dislikes her, and slanders her, and gives her a bad name, saying, I married this woman, but when I approached her, I did not find proof of her virginity, then the young woman's father and mother shall bring to the town elders at the gate proof that she was a virgin. Her father will say to the elders, I gave my daughter in marriage to this man, but he dislikes her. Now he slanders her and said, I did not find your daughter to be a virgin, but here is the proof of my daughter's virginity. Then her parent shall display the cloth before the elders of the town, and the elders shall take the man and punish him. They shall fine him 100 shekels of silver and give them to the young woman's father, because this man has given an Israelite virgin a bad name. She shall continue to be his wife. He must not divorce her as long as he lives. Wow. And this is the Christian argument. Oh, if you're not happy, you just find another man. If you're not happy, just go out there and, variety is the spice of life. Don't hold yourself down to one relationship. Have many relationships. This world has become off its rockers. It's out of its mind. If, however, the charge is true and no proof of the young woman's virginity can be found, she shall be brought to the door of the father's house, and there the man of her town shall stone her to death. Because she wasn't a virgin. Because she laid down with someone already. So this Lord, Yahweh, is very serious about his commandments. These are his commandments. You understand? This is what he's telling you not to do. She has done an outrageous thing in Israel by being promiscuous while still in her father's house. You must purge the evil from among you. Okay, so, folks, I think that that's a mistranslation or the wrong word in this instance. Okay, if I don't see a woman laying down, I've met very few women in America, man, that don't have a body count under 20 or 50 fucking men. But if you've been with one man, then this sin has to be because you're putting yourself off as a virgin, okay? And you weren't a virgin, but you had laid down with someone else. What if the woman that laid down with someone else told the man before he chose her, you know what? I've been with another man already. I'm not a virgin. And they don't marry. And there is no dishonor in that. I'm sorry, I've already been with someone. Then what? What happens then in that case? Is there anybody who can answer that for me? Put it down there in the comment section if you would. If a man is found sleeping with another man's wife, both the man who slept with her and the woman must die. You must purge the evil from Israel. I know, man, this is such a harsh blow, man, to understand, to grasp this concept. I don't know if it's right to, stone somebody for this kind of behavior to death. It's not my place to say so one way or another. However, man, for America, there does. This is why we're in depravity. This is why fornication exists and everybody's screwing one another, man, is because this is why other women and men are committing adultery, man. You're weak. You're weak-minded. You've been programmed from this world by evil that is channeled to you through that television. Whether you understand that or not, from the moment you sit down in front of that television set, it is programming you for this kind of behavior. It's programming you to be a fornicator. It's programming you to be a lie. They sing lies for you with all in it, man. All in the rock and roll industry.
That simple. It's It's not just that people are walking across the border.
We were even able to see, as of last night, a lot of migrants just crossing, and migrants I spoke to this morning saying they haven't had any interaction with U.S. immigration authorities.
It is not that simple.
If a man happens to meet in a town a virgin pledged to be married and he sleeps with her, then she's already committed adultery to the Lord. You shall take both of them to the gate of the town and stone them to death. Okay, adultery clearly means a lot to the Spirit of Truth. So how did we get in this plane of existence where there's so much carnal fornications going on? There's so many people that are committing adultery. They don't even think twice about it, man. They're just serving their flesh, and they don't understand that their soul is inside of that flesh, and something evil is suppressing the true you, and this is why you run around fornicate like a fool. The young woman, because she was in the town and did not scream for help, and the man, because he violated another man's wife. You must purge the evil from among you. So Israel's just as guilty as adultery as anybody else. And what was the whole argument, the base argument that took place between the Spirit of Truth, the living God, the Almighty One, and those multiple gods, those fallen gods, those angels that call themselves God, have made themselves God? What was said between them? Satan said to God that you, Israel, were no better than the Gentile race, because that's what Satan is. He's a Gentile. He's the high gen. He's a high gen tiled in flesh. And that's what a Gentile is. Put the words together. The language we speak here is a two-tongue language, folks. All right? And Satan said that he could turn you, Israel, against God, and that you are no better than him. And clearly the spirit of on this plane, a spirit of darkness on this plane of existence, has proved right. He's proved this case right. And God even claims it himself, that 2/3 of Israel are going to die from lack of their knowledge. So my point here being is, if we've got 2/3 of Israel that are Israelites, but yet they are in the trash and the garbage with the pagan worship and Gentiles, then it's, as I said in the last chapter, that you will start following their gods. So this is a challenge, even for those walking straight with God, to decipher who is Israel and who isn't Israel, because you have a lot of people claiming that they're Israel. You have a lot of people claiming that they're the house of Levi, and then they own land, and they own property, and they have money, and they weren't to have any property or anything like that. So we have to, it's saying to purge this evil from among you. Well, the evil, folks, the evil is everywhere among you. It's always been everywhere among you, everywhere. Jeremiah 16:19 Bible Hub. O Lord, again, Yahweh, okay? This is the God of Israel, and those in the providence of Israel today who call him Jehovah. So again, I ask the question, what's the difference between those in the providence today who call him Jehovah and those that call him Yahweh? Specifically, these are two different names, two different Jews. One Jew is the true children of God, and the other Jews are imposters who took the inheritance and the name. Literally, white people stole the inheritance of God's chosen children, which apparently from the Bible, I'm not saying it, apparently from the Bible, Jeremiah 14:2, Judas mourneth, and the gates thereof languish, they are black unto the ground. God's chosen children are black onto the ground, as the Bible tells us. But here's my point, folks. Here's the point. Okay, we've been here crossbreeding for centuries, for millennium, for decades. On and on and on, we've been crossbreeding. God's chosen children have been crossbreeding with the Gentile. The Supreme Spirit created a man with his spirit on them. Now you may ask yourself, why? Why would the Spirit allow God's chosen children to crossbreed? Why didn't the Supreme Spirit of truth create Adam in the Garden of Eden and put a gate around it where nothing could come in? Why did he leave it open with access so that the darkness, Satan, the first man, Adam, could come in and con? Why didn't God protect his second creation? I argue, and I may not be correct here, I could be wrong, but I argue that the Spirit of God did this so that his Spirit could be back in this plane of existence, knowing that the Gentile would do what they do and come in and get Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and start to get them where what? Where the life was placed back inside of this plane of existence. But then you have the Bible telling us that the Supreme God is telling you that you're not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and if you do eat from it, on that day you shall surely die. You're not to eat it, and you're not to touch it. So now, we as Gentiles, me, myself, I have to ask myself now, what does that mean that God's chosen children would die? Adam and Eve will surely die. It means that Adam and Eve fell from grace and became spiritually dead to the Spirit. Okay? You guys followed Satan. Face it, man. Adam and Eve followed Satan. They hearkened to Satan's voice. Adam hearkened to Eve's voice. And that's kind of a cop-out right there, I feel. No, man. I'm a creator and stuff. I'm Adam. Adam did what he did because he so loved his wife. That's why he did what he did. So the Bible is telling us plainly that God's children here are black onto the ground, folks. Okay? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the Bible's saying that. I believe it. I absolutely, truly, 100% believe it. But I also know that those prophets, as the Bible is written, is questionable. I question a prophet. I question a God that tells a prophet to lay its child up on an altar and to kill it. I question that God. Okay, I question the parent. So I question both Abraham and God, who told Abraham to put Isaac on that altar and to offer him as a sacrifice. All right? It's ridiculous. No one on the face of the earth, even as much as my daughter has shamed me in her lifestyle and what she's done, could somebody come to me that's a man, okay? Well, why would I say that this Lord here is a man? Okay? Where is it? The Lord here is Yahweh, right? And then you have here Exodus 15:3, Bible Hub. You have that the Lord here is his name. Okay? The Lord is a warrior. Well, a warrior is someone that kills with the sword. Okay? So this Lord here, Yahweh, that's the title that it's given, is a man. The literal standard version is telling us that Yahweh is a man. He's a man of battle, and that is his name. And if Yahweh was a man, then absolutely he shouldn't be getting worshipped. Okay? This is the whole purpose and reason why John chapter 4, verse 24, Bible Hub, tells us that God is spirit. Okay? And those worshipers must worship him in spirit and truth. This God here, though, sadly, for the Gentile is a theos, and it is the supreme divinity. And divinity means divine, but also divi, D-I-V-I, means to divvy up. So this is a divinity, as in a divided entity of the supreme creator. This is a magistrate. It is a magi. A magi is magic that's being pulled over our eyes by magistrates. What is a magistrate, folks? Images of magistrates: mankind, judges, people who, the government. The government is everything that is evil in America. You understand that? These are evil, demonic beings possessed by entities, divinities of the Supreme Spirit. Remember, he's the one that created good and evil. I form the light, which is prosperity, which is illumination. Illumination are those that have insight and wisdom. Okay, it is not the same as a luminary, but it covers both luminary and illumination. The Illuminati, the luminary. Okay, and I created darkness. So the Supreme Spirit, the living God, created darkness, but he subcontracted it out to another God. Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. Right here. God, this God here is Elohim. Okay, I've showed you Eloheka, I've showed you Elohim, I've showed you Lord, I'm showing you that lowercase gods is also Elohim, and all of these gods are being used of a supreme God. The supreme God is outside of time, space, and matter. This is a lower dimensional God, Elohim, that created this plane of existence. This is not the Supreme Spirit, as you can plainly see. And if I'm in error, then it's because of the way that I'm translating this Bible. And you don't have to listen to me. Don't listen to me. But I'm rolling with what I'm finding here. What I read every day, I'm rolling with. This is telling us seriously that this God Spirit, is a divinity of the Supreme Spirit. This is something that is used of another higher God. One God being used as a higher God, such as the same way as images of the Pope. Right there. This is a God. This is a magistrate. Okay? He considers himself a God. But God is not a man. God is not the flesh. The Supreme Spirit of Truth is not a man. He's not a flesh. This here is a man who considers himself God. This man here has religions of demons on him. Legions of demons on him. Okay? This is where the men are men and the sheep are scared. Okay? This is a weak, demented God. These gods here, they serve this man whittled out of stick wood. Okay, this is a graven image. Jesus is an image. Okay. But if out in the country a man happens to meet a young woman pledged to be married and rapes her, only the man who has done this shall die. See, so people who would rape back in the day, they'd get stoned and wiped the fuck off the face of the earth. Guess what? You won't have a man raping anybody anymore, right? No, because the government turned it into big business. This is a feed factor of fear now. Okay, the government produces this dysfunction. They produce it on the mainstream networks, the television and everything. They teach our children to act, and they show them death. They show them bank robberies. They show them fucking all the garbage in the world. The Lbgtq is being shoved down our throats at such a massive rate on the internet now, man. I'm telling you, if you have a child, keep your child off the internet. If you have a child, take the phone, hand them a book, teach them to read. Okay? Give them the Bible. Teach them to read the Bible. Read the Bible yourselves. Start reading the Bible yourselves, folks. If you don't start paying attention to what this Bible is telling you, then you are going to be left in darkness, okay? Do nothing to the woman. She is she has committed no sin deserving death. This case, well, even still so, she's got to live with that horrid act all her life. Okay, there's nothing more degrading than for a person to force their flesh, their carnal flesh, from something demented outside that carnal flesh, that's driving that carnal flesh, that's subduing the soul that's inside of that flesh, and making you think that this is a fun act, a protecting act. Okay, this is why the Lord is saying, purge the evil from you. And this is why the Gentile like to put these kinds of people in jail. Oh, let him, a first-time offense rapist, this is his first account. Oh, okay, we're going to give you 3 years, but we're going to hold 2 of it. We're only going to give you a year. You'll be out of jail within fucking 6 months for raping a child or destroying their life. Now, someone might fucking, some hard-nosed judges might give the guy 5 years, and he might do 2.5 years in prison. Okay? Where we as taxpayers have to pay for it. We got to pay for the judge. We got to pay for the court clerks. We got to pay for all that. Where if we just got rid of all the fucking court system and stoned the fucking people to death as it says for the abominations, people might be a little slower to act about just laying down with anybody that comes along. I'm for some of these laws. You know why? Because I was married to 2 cheating fucking whores, man. Okay? That's the way it is. I was married to them. That's what they were. Okay? One was a lying freaking dope addict thief, and the other was a playboy. She liked to cheat around. So yeah, I think that there should be a higher price for a mate that breaks that bond between me and God when I gave my life to my mate and said I'd be with her through thick or thin, good or bad, the worst. Okay? I would have never divorced either one of my wives. They both fucking divorced me, so it's on them. And the Spirit of God knows my heart. He knows that I would have stayed with that vile creature that I married. And it's disturbing, but I would have. Okay? If my first wife would have never divorced me, probably would, as weak and as much of a simp as I was as a man, I probably would have stayed with that grungy little nutbag woman. That little sloppy frickin' sack of fucking lying shit. Okay? Now God, Jesus, he come for love. This God here is I'm for some of his commandments, but I'm not for all of them, man. You know, but adultery is running rampant in our country, and there has to be something more. There has to be a higher price for the adultery. And hopefully, you know, it'll be something that, you know, a cleansing. A cleansing comes upon this place, man. And I hope that cleansing comes soon. And I hope people start waking up, man. I hope you turn from your sins and repent. I truly hope you do. Okay, let's get back to where I was. This case is like that of someone who attacks and murders a neighbor, for the man found the young woman out in the country, and though he betrothed, the woman screamed, there was no one to rescue her. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He has never divorced her as long as he lives. Now here's another perfect example of what I'm talking about. That a man rapes a woman, okay? What if it was some fat fucking pig, slob, motherfucking glutton piece of shit that raped your daughter, and then you're being told by this law that the man has to marry the woman, and the woman is just fucking horrified at the gluttonous look of this pig that just climbed on top of her, and this is a law by a God that says that you have to marry the woman? Come on. This is what I mean, man, about common sense, folks. Some of these laws are really good. Remember, some of them are really good. Others are kind of questionable, man. And without eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, I couldn't question this Bible, huh? If I just completely walked in darkness, ignorance, what was the purpose of this God telling you not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil? Why would a God create you and then want to keep you dumbed down? What was his purpose? Could it be because he wanted you to remain lower? The Creator wanted you to remain as a slave. Maybe wanted you to mine his gold and his silver and his jewelry and all of his money and all that shit to do his slave work for you. Because if you step into knowledge of good and evil and you wake up and you start questioning stuff, this is the brilliance of the Bible. We're taught all our lives never to question anything about the Bible, never question the gods of the Bible, never question these people. Well, I'm sorry. Today I do question them. I don't think that a woman that's raped by a man should have to marry that man. That should be her choice. That should be her choice, not his choice. Not some law that's given that a rapist that raped a woman, that she have to spend the rest of her life with a man that she just, it repulses at the thought of looking at him. That would be a punishment, folks. I mean, protect me, Dad. Don't make me do this horrid thing. I don't want to be with this man. Am I right or wrong? Put it down in the column. Let me know. A man is not to marry his father's wife. He must not dishonor his father's bed. And people are doing it. Look, we got sons that are laying down with their mothers, fathers laying down with their daughters, fathers laying down with their sons, mothers laying down with their daughters. We got all kinds of this abominating acts that are taking place. We have the Lbgtq&A being shoved down our throats. Okay? We have to come to a close on this, man. Okay? Right here, a woman must not wear men's clothing. Cross-dressing is off. Okay? So, this distorted, warped fucking mind right here. Men in women's clothing, dressing up, reading to our children. Okay? These parents, they're fucking demons. Any parent that would take their child to a trans is of the darkness, folks. You can't see that? Anyone who'd stand in the streets and protect this kind of behavior from a man are twisted, disturbed, mentally ill people. And when you speak out against it, you know what they call it? They call it hate speech. Well, guess what, folks? Clean your fucking acts up. Let me be very clear with you, okay? A man's semen is his life force. You placing your Johnson up the backside of another man's rear end and ejaculating your semen into his feces is the most disgusting fucking thing on the face of the earth, okay? This is the acts of the pagan. This is what God, the supreme, the living, didn't want you getting around. So for all you cross-dressers, okay, it's one thing if you're a child, you're 3 years old and you get into your mom or dad's fucking clothing, or you're a 5-year-old boy and you slip into her little slippers. I did that as a little boy, walking in my mom's high heels. I think we all do it. We all go through a stage. But then there's a stage where you know it's wrong. You know, you become an adult and you do that kind of behavior, then you're the seed of Satan. It's that simple. There's no way around it. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. All praise and glory to the mighty Most High Creator, who's one God, the supreme Spirit of truth, the living one. Praise and glory to him. I don't know his name, and I don't call on any names. I don't trust anybody to tell me any names of God. I don't know his name. You're born into this plane of existence. You're met with a memory wipe. Okay?
You had me cloned. Yes. Well, you cloned the wrong man. How did you do it? You had to have my, what do you call it? Your sin cording. We had it. Yes.
You see, folks, today this technology is real. I wish you understood that. This isn't a joke or a game, man.
Tell me why I'm a threat to Michael Trucker. Trucker was killed 3 years ago. We cloned him then, and we cloned him yesterday. A clone has no rights. A clone can't own anything. Trucker would lose all of this, everything. Because Trucker would be
So what I propose is that Satan is a man that came to this technology fucking years and years, well, millennium ago. Nothing new underneath of the sun, right? Nothing new underneath of the sun. So Satan cloned himself. We came to this knowledge and we started reveling in it. And the clone world today, we've reached it. Once again, the precipice of the technology where we come to these biohazardous pods that they're creating these babies in. Okay? These aren't humans. And this is probably what Satan is. He downloaded his soul inside of a fucking machine, and these are biological robots, and he controls the hive. So I hope you guys wake up to all this, man. All praise and glory goes out to the Most High. Peace. This is White Raptor News Ministries.